Hello, and welcome back to Alice Talks Football, and welcome back to a live Manchester United news, transfer news, and update show. Bruno Fernandez could be out from anywhere till 4 to 12 weeks, depending on the extent of his injury. It is a soft tissue injury. You know, it's not ideal. Bruno was meant to be superhuman. Bruno was meant to be robot, but could that trigger Manchester United to sign a centre mid in the January window after this Bruno injury? I know Leach filled in and did a good job, but we don't know how that's going to work long term. Leach and Casemiro looks like it's going to be the midfield versus Newcastle, which could get bullied physically. We will see. Ruben Neves available for 20 million. João Gomez potentially available. It will be really interesting to see what happens with the midfield. But one deal is very, very close, and that is Zirkzee to Roma. Manchester United just need to approve it. Roma have basically put in the 34 million bid for Zirkzee when you include the loan fee and the obligation to buy and everything. And I feel like with Bruno's injury, will they keep Zirkzee? Bruno's injured, Mount's injured, and Bumo's out, Ahmad's out. Or will they let Zirkzee go? I think if Manchester United get the green light from Antoine Semenyo, we will 100% let Zirkzee go. I think if we don't get the green light from Semenyo, we might be more reluctant to let Zirkzee go, to be honest. Because obviously we're waiting for Semenyo to pick between Manchester United and Manchester City, but Liverpool could go back in with Alexander Isak's injury. But I think United are really pushing for Semenyo now with the Bruno injury. Mount potentially goes deeper into Bruno's role. But I do expect Ruben Neves to potentially heat up. While Ruben Neves isn't exactly what we want off the ball, I think he's got the ability maybe on the ball to control games that could potentially help us, and for depth, because we're looking at Agate's performance. We don't really want him in the starting 11 week in, week out. We've lost 7 games in a row that Agate started, and we don't really want Agate starting. But yeah, let's talk about it. Let's talk about the news. The Zirkzee exit is reportedly close. There's a bid coming in, and yeah, let me know your thoughts down below. A lot of people are a bit down at the moment. And yeah, I'm a bit down with Bruno's injury, with the players missing at AFCON. If we'd have beaten Villa, and I think we deserve something out of the Villa game, we have potential to go 4th or 5th. Imagine if we'd have won and Bruno didn't get injured, we could have been 4th, 5th right now. We could be going into Christmas with a bit of positivity, and now there's a little bit of like, we need a spark. We need a spark, and I think Cunha could potentially be that spark in Bruno's absence. But let's talk about Joshua Zirkzee. So this has been said. Now, there's been a lot said on Zirkzee, but this is the story that has come out just now. A deal worth 40 million euros is on the table, which is 34 million pounds. For United, for Joshua Zirkzee. Roma have put forward an initial loan fee of 5 million euros and an option to buy of 30 million, plus bonuses of 5 million will be handed to Amrin's side if Roma qualify for the Champions League. The offer is close to United's demand, which is 50 million euros. Roma want to reach a compromise on those terms as soon as possible. If we can get this to be an obligation to buy, not an option to buy, then we get for Zirkzee what we paid for him, which is £34 million. A year and a half later, we can get an obligation to buy. I'm open to doing that. I like Zirkzee, and he's a player that I think I would like to see get more minutes and more opportunities, but he's clearly not what Ruben Amorim wants. And if he's not what Ruben Amorim wants, and if letting Zirkzee go gives us the funds to go and get Semenyo, then I'm very open to doing that, because I'm thinking of, while I like Zirkzee, he's not quite like Ruben Amorim doesn't like him as a 10. Ruben Amorim doesn't like him as a 9. Ruben Amorim likes Semenyo. We will see Semenyo play. The only issue is now Maino's injured, Ahmad's out, and Bumo's out. The squad is very thin. That I think if we do let Zirkzee go, it will be after AFCON. But also with Bruno's injury, he almost brought Zirkzee on and put Mount deeper, then decided to put Leach deeper. But he might put Leach back into the defence because Euro's struggling. So I look at this and I go, well, there's a deal on the table. There's a 34 million bid coming in, but we need an obligation to buy, not option. Need Mount to step up and do what Bruno does more, but Mount's a different player. I think if anyone's going to step up, it will be Cunha, to be honest. Zirkzee's probably our third best player on technical ability. I mean, Zirkzee's got all the technical ability that we need, but he doesn't suit what Amorim wants to do. I don't rate Agate, but it wasn't the problem yesterday. He had no one next to him in the midfield going into the game. He did grow into the game, but he gave the ball away twice in the first 10 minutes. And then that pass about half an hour into the match that went off. He got better as the game went on. And I think Euro was probably the worst player on the pitch, but he was not good enough for Agate. He was not good enough. Option to buy is the one that's like, yeah, Zirkzee's better than Sesko. Selling Zirkzee would be silly. The thing is, I do like Zirkzee and I rate Zirkzee and I believe there's a player in Zirkzee, but Ruben Amorim isn't playing Zirkzee. Ruben Amorim doesn't see Zirkzee as one of the players that he wants. So that's kind of what it is, you know? And look, Ruben Amorim might go and a new manager might come in and he might be saying, I wish I had that Zirkzee. But that is the risk I guess you take. With Sesko being the main sort of striker. But look, Sesko's getting a lot of criticism. Sesko's getting a lot of stick. He's just come back from an injury. I think Martinez did well. I don't think he has to score that chance. But I was hoping Sesko would have dominated Lindelof in the box, and we did not see that as well. I don't rate Dalot, but he's getting decent lately. I agree. Dalot had a stinker, and the last 6 games been pretty good. He was having a stinker of a season, and the last 5-6 games, he's been pretty good, Dalot. So credit where credit is due. The second Rodgers goal's on Dalot for me. I think Euro could have done better. Euro definitely could have done better for the first. Dalot could maybe do more for the second. But all in all, Dalot has definitely improved. I do feel like we were a little bit awkward at times at wing back, with the wing backs a little bit reluctant to take on their man. And I think that's what Ahmad gives you, and that's what Semenyo would give you at left wing back. In terms of other Zirkzee news, guys, because there's been quite a few stories on Zirkzee. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you a quick overview of everything we need to know on Zirkzee before we talk about Semenyo and before we talk about midfielders, because we do need a centre mid and we're going to talk about midfielders that I think are available. But it was said that Roma are closing on Zirkzee and constant contacts are ongoing and the parties are getting closer. And that was said by Matteo Moretto. Matteo Moretto, a very reliable source of information, said that Roma are closing in on a deal with Zirkzee. We know from Fabrizio Romano that Roma are advancing talks with Zirkzee on personal terms for January. We know from Romano that a potential loan with an obligation to buy for Joshua Zirkzee could help facilitate Semenyo's move to Man United. And Roma's management flew to London last week to hold meetings about Zirkzee. Ben Jacobs said that Roma are serious about a deal for Joshua Zirkzee and believe he wants the move. And it was also said by Dimarzio that Joshua Zirkzee is Roma's priority, but they may have to be willing to wait until mid-January, until after AFCON. So we got a lot on Joshua Zirkzee. We got a lot from Romano, from Ben Jacobs, that Roma are serious. Roma have been in London having meetings with Manchester United about Joshua Zirkzee. Manchester United told Roma, a loan with an obligation, you hit around this fee, we will give you Joshua Zirkzee. Joshua Zirkzee is close to agreeing personal terms with Roma, but United haven't approved any move yet. United aren't obviously happy with current bids that are coming in for Joshua Zirkzee. So it'll be interesting to see if things change with Bruno Fernandez's injury. But Roma and Zirkzee looks very, very close. The deal for Roma and Zirkzee is very close. The offer is there. United want a better offer. Personal terms are close. And this has been said by many, many reliable journalists. Euro's not in the right frame of mind, seeing it at the moment of his confidence. I agree. Lenny Euro, the back end of last season, was our best centre-back. Lenny Euro was phenomenal the back end of last season. Absolutely phenomenal. So if you all of a sudden think Lenny Euro is a bad player because he's had a few bad games this season at 20 years of age in a struggling Man United side, then you're an idiot. He's just low on confidence. I think absolutely right. He's not in the right frame of mind. He's very low on confidence. There's a good player in Lenny Euro. We've just got to be patient. Look, Semenyo at 20 was playing in League One. Just because Euro isn't looking like prime Van Dijk at age 20 doesn't mean there isn't a good player there. And I think people have just got to be patient with Euro. And I'm seeing a lot of negativity online, like sell him, get rid of him. Well, that's not going to make him any better. That's going to ruin his confidence more. Get behind him. It took Barry 14 games to get his first goal for Everton, and the Everton fans were getting behind him and hyping him up because they wanted to get his confidence up so he'd score. Let's get behind Euro. Let's try and get his confidence up. Do you know what I mean? But all we do is hype up our young players when they have a few good games, and the minute they have a few bad games, we bring them down. We knock their confidence. They're young players. Then just because Lamine Yamal is Lamine Yamal, don't expect all our other players to be perfect 18, 19, 20. Jack Fletcher and I thought Shea Lacey had very good cameos for 18-year-old kids, but there's someone online saying, oh, they're not good enough for an 18-year-old. What? Because you've seen a 10-minute cameo of them in the first team. You're absolutely taking the mick. I feel like because of Lamine Yamal, everyone's expecting Shea Lacey to be Lamine Yamal level. That's just not normal. Everyone's expecting Maino to be, prime, Ruud Gullit. It's like, honestly, you've got to remember with these young kids, like, people don't hit their prime until 24, 25. If 20 is young, there's going to be inconsistencies. And let's just back our players. Look, we need De Ligt back. And look, I think you make a point. Euro hasn't been as good without De Ligt. Euro plays best with an experienced centre-back next to him. Euro doesn't, he doesn't play as well with Heaven as well. And I'm not blaming Heaven. Heaven's been good. But I just think the fans are very harsh. I think you've got to realise he's young and we just got to give him confidence. Could Sekou Kone get minutes with the midfield injuries? I mean, maybe, but Jack Fletcher was picked over Sekou Kone, who I thought was very good in the postseason tour. But I know Sekou Kone is obviously struggling with injuries. But it'll be interesting to see if there's an opportunity for Sekou Kone. But it's believed that Sekou Kone is going to go out on loan. What about Collier? He's on loan at West Brom, but he's injured. I see people making up stuff that Collier is struggling at West Brom. He's injured. Anyway, let's talk about Antoine Semenyo, because this is who we could bring in with Zirkzee going. This weekend, both Manchester United and Manchester City have had direct contacts for Antoine Semenyo. Both clubs are in active talks to sign Semenyo. So that has been said by Romano. Liverpool could go back in, so we've got to watch that. But it is between United and City. My fear is Semenyo knows where he wants to go, but if he keeps talking to United and City, that can get a bigger wage offer out of United and a bigger wage offer out of City. Do you know what I mean? I feel like they're like, oh, Semenyo. Okay, let's say Semenyo wants Man City. His agent will be telling him, lead on Man United. Say you want Man United, so Man City offer you a bigger wage. That's the game. He's turned down Tottenham, but he's keeping Man United, City and Liverpool there. Maybe to see who gives him the best wage, I'm not sure. So that's the one thing we've got to keep an eye on, because apparently City could give him a bigger wage than us. But there's uncertainty under Pep Guardiola and all of that as well that we've got to take into account. But we know that we are the two clubs active for Semenyo. He's already told Tottenham he doesn't want them. He's not turned down Man United. He's turned down Tottenham, Semenyo. He's turned down other clubs, but he's not turned down Man United. So I think that's the interesting thing with Semenyo, is he's turned down some clubs, but not Manchester United. So there could be something there. But Isak has broken his leg. Liverpool are looking thin. Gakpo's injured. Salah's at AFCON. I do worry Liverpool's going to hijack. I do worry. I think with Bruno's injury, Maino will be staying. I think if we're going to loan someone out, it will be Agate. I agree. I think Maino could stay with Bruno's injury. Where will Semenyo fit? He's mostly a wide player. He'll play left wing back. He can play left 10. And he'll play left wing if we move to a 4-3-3, which apparently we're thinking of doing. He can also play up top. He can also play on the right. He's a very versatile player. One thing I can say about this Semenyo move is that it'd be a very good option due to his versatility. As I was just saying, kind of lock Cunha on the left, but he's not priority. Look, priority would be Elliot Anderson. There's no one we need more than Elliot Anderson. But yeah, I actually do like Tanaka. I do actually like Tanaka of Leeds. He was very good in the Championship last season, but not for Man United, maybe. I think Semenyo would be my pick. But I am a little bit worried with this Isak injury. And look, I've seen Man United fans celebrate Isak's injury. Why? Okay, I don't like Liverpool. I want Liverpool to finish the bottom half of the table. Don't get me wrong. But I wouldn't celebrate Isak's injury. No one deserves a leg break. And also, they might steal Semenyo from us now. So I don't get celebrating injuries. I don't mind if a rival has a player that's going to miss 2-3 games with a little injury, a little knock. I'm thinking, you know what? We're going to play Man City. Oh, Erling Haaland's out for 3 games with a knock. Thank you very much. Don't mind that. But leg breaks, ACLs, would not wish that on any player, even if they play for City, even if they play for Liverpool. Any actual serious injury, I wouldn't want. I don't think that's nice because these are players' careers and stuff. Let's continue on into more that's been said on Semenyo. Ornstein said, everything I've learned suggests the transfer is highly possible and the names emerging as the leading contenders are City and United. In no particular order, they're both extremely fond of him. Ornstein has also confirmed that, it's between us and City for Semenyo. Apparently, he's going to make a decision soon. Romano said he's going to make a decision soon. Please do. I think we need him now. Now, he's not obviously a Bruno replacement. He's not the biggest creator in the world. But I just think, Mount could play deeper. Mount could play the Bruno role. For me, Semenyo and Neves makes sense. Do you know what I mean? Ruben Neves definitely isn't the answer. But Ruben Neves is 15, 20 million. He's got the leadership of Bruno Fernandez. He's got the mentality of Bruno Fernandez and he keeps the ball well. Ruben Neves isn't the answer, but he's good for Portugal. He's good for Al Hilal. He's a good player. He can do it in the Premier League. I know he's been in Saudi 2 years. and it will be a bit of adjustment for him. But I feel like he's probably one of the only players from Saudi I'd go for. If I could get Elliot Anderson, I would. If I could get Adam Morton, I would. João Gomez, I would. But if you can get Ruben Neves as an option, I will go for Ruben Neves. He's not what we want off the ball, but as a short-term option because the midfield is thin, yeah. Someone said Ruben Neves I don't want to see. Gallagher at Old Trafford, deep-lying playmaker makes sense. Do you mean the other way around? Ruben Neves is a deep-lying playmaker. Gallagher's an off-the-ball merchant. Gallagher's what we need off the ball. Neves is what we need on the ball. If you could combine them together, boom. But I'd be taking Neves over Conor Gallagher. I'd easily be taking Neves over Conor Gallagher. Because Conor Gallagher is definitely not a deep-lying playmaker. I'll tell you that about Conor Gallagher. He's not very good on the ball. He's more off the ball. And to be fair, Amorim likes off-the-ball merchants, don't get me wrong. But he's more of an off-the-ball guy. Alice, if you could sign anyone in January, who would you sign? Elliot Anderson and Lamine Yamal. Who would you sign to replace Bruno? Elliot Anderson and Cole Palmer. But we ain't going to get them. Like, we've got to be realistic. That's not happening. It's absolutely not happening. I'd like it to happen, but it's not happening. Do you know what I mean? So I guess we have to be realistic and go, okay, well, Neves. Oh, you said you didn't want Gallagher. Did I misread that? Oh, bring me Ruben Neves. I don't want to see Gallagher at Old Trafford. Sorry, I misread that. I thought you said, I don't want to see Neves. Bring me Gallagher. I don't know why I misread that. I must be tired. I was going to say, I thought you were calling Gallagher a deep-line playmaker. I was like, Neves is a deep-line playmaker. What's he on about? I completely misread that. That is absolutely my bad. Yeah, Ruben Neves we will take. Garte is struggling, Gallagher is struggling. Gallagher's definitely better than Agade, but I think they're kind of similar profiles. Musiala, I mean, look, obviously we've seen Zirkzee and Xavi Simons not be amazing, and Musiala's obviously out injured, but Musiala, I think, is unbelievable as a player. I mean, I'd be open to Musiala coming to Man United as a Bruno replacement, but I think he's been out for so long, and I don't think he's fit till the end of the season, and I don't think he'd be even buying for us. Elise would have been lovely. Oh, Elise would have been absolutely amazing, people. I love Elise, but it is what it is. Yeah, let's talk about other transfer news then. Because we need to sign a midfielder. Bruno could be out for at least a month after sustaining a suspected soft tissue injury, which forced him off at halftime in United's defeat at Villa Park. Bruno could be out from anywhere for 4 to 12 weeks. So I think we need to go and get another midfielder. If it's a tear, he could be out for 16 weeks. We will know in the next 2 days the extent of Bruno's injury. I'm assuming Bruno is probably going to have an MRI in the next couple of days, maybe even today, if he can. And I think we will know soon. Someone said, what about Harvey Elliott on loan? Come on. I don't doubt Harvey Elliott's ability. He won England's under-21s player of the tournament. He's got 97 minutes in the league this season. He's gone on loan to Villa and got 97 minutes. Basically, the problem is, if he makes 10 appearances for Villa, they have to pay the 35 million obligation. I just think that's crazy. Liverpool done Harvey Elliott dirty. They said if he makes 10 appearances for you, you have to make a 35 million obligation, so Villa aren't playing him. Because they're like, well, we don't want to pay 35 million for Harvey Elliott. Which is absolutely nuts. I think... But I wouldn't take Harvey Elliott at Man United. He's a massive Liverpool fan. I do think there's a good player there, but he's former Liverpool. Like, that'd be nuts. Cava just said on Sky Sports that if Liverpool go in for Semenyo, he'll choose them over United or City. Thoughts? Maybe he will. I've always felt that he was going to go to Liverpool, to be honest, so we'll have to see. Man City interested in Pavlovic. Do you know what? I like Pavlovic. Pavlovic is a good shout. I've watched about 3 buying games this season, mostly just looking at Harry Kane and Elise, like, wow. But Pavlovic is definitely a good player. Definitely a player that I do like. I want to watch a bit more Bundesliga this season, but I just watch so much football, so much Prem, that when it comes, it's just Prem and Champions League for me. I feel it's really hard to get the time to watch other games unless I've got nothing to do and there's a big game on in Serie A or Bundesliga, but there's nothing on in the Prem. But Bayern are a good watch. I try and watch Bayern when I can. They are a good watch, and I do like Pavlovic. There's only 3 worth buying: Anderson, Morton, Baleba. I think Anderson should be number 1. I think abroad, Manu Kone is definitely a player I like. The thing with buying abroad is, how are they going to settle into the Prem? Players I like abroad are Manu Kone. I like Pavlovic, but I like João Neves. But there's not many players abroad that I like that I feel could do well in the Prem. That's the big fear as well. Obviously there is players abroad that I think could potentially do well. Like I always thought Tchouaméni would have been good. Camavinga would have been good, don't get me wrong. I think Ligue 1 probably produces the best midfielders, I've always found. Although she says that Agati was from Ligue 1, but he wasn't produced in Ligue 1. Edison was good last night for Atlanta. I just don't think Edison's what we need. On the ball, there's limitations there. Semenyo should be guaranteed minutes for a month. I mean, some people think that Amarin is lying about this Semenyo injury and that he's kicking him out because of what his brother done. I doubt it. I mean, it's just bad timing for Semenyo because he probably would have got 90 minutes. And apparently he's not ready for Newcastle, so he probably would have got 90 minutes. I like Fabian Ruiz, but again, a bit old. I don't know. I think the problem is we need someone that's technical and good on the ball, but because of the way that Ruben Amorim wants to play, he also needs to be good off the ball. Like, we need someone that's good and technical on the ball. Pedri's good on the ball. João Neves is good on the ball. Vitinha's good on the ball. Maino's good on the ball. Stiller's good on the ball. But Ruben Amorim doesn't like any of those players. He wants someone that's good off the ball. But it's like, we need someone that's good on the ball. Neves is good on the ball, probably lacks off the ball. We just need someone with the athleticism that Amorim needs that is also great on the ball. And that's just so hard to find, particularly in this January window. It is going to be increasingly difficult. Bouadi is a player I've only watched a couple of times. And he looks very good. I agree. I've not watched loads of him. I've probably watched 5 games of his. And I have to say, every time I've watched him play, I think there is a player there. And obviously he's very young. I'm going to Google his age. Bouadi is 18. There's definitely a player there. For sure. I like Bouadi. Very young though. I feel like Anderson and Bouadi would be nice because Anderson is Prem proven. Bouadi's the young player to learn from. On the ball, I love Stiller. I just think he might get the Maino treatment because of a liability off the ball. Now, he got kicked out of the team because of his brother. My guess is they asked Kobe to say, do you want out? He said yes, and now they're looking at an exit for him. Some people think they're pretending Kobe's injured and they're looking for an exit for him. But I just think with Bruno injured, I just think surely not. Because Amorim said in his press conference he's not going to punish Maino for something his brother did. So I just assume he's injured. I don't think he'll be back for Newcastle, but I think he'll be back for Wolves. It was said that Kobe Maino is expected to be out for a week or so with a slight calf injury he suffered in training yesterday. I don't know if they'd lie about the injury. What did they do when they kicked out Marcus Rashford? Because it was about a year ago when Marcus Rashford got kicked out. Did they say he was injured? I don't think they said he was injured. I think Ruben Amorim was quite honest in his press conference. I feel like Ruben Amorim would say. Ruben Amorim said he's not going to punish Maino. I feel like Ruben Amorim made it clear with Rashford, like he's gone. Goners, take him. Someone take him on. Do you know what I mean? I don't know. Like, I feel like if there was an issue with Maino, Ruben Amorim would say. But then, because Ruben Amorim made it so obvious it was an issue with Garnacho and Rashford, we didn't get good offers for them. Maybe if we pretend Maino is injured, we get a better offer for him. But I feel like if there was an issue with Ruben Amorim and Maino, I feel like he would have said, to be honest. They said he was injured. So I feel like he probably is injured. I'm not going to add fuel to that speculation. But Al Hilal midfielder Ruben Neves wants to return to the Premier League in January. João Gomez would absolutely love a move to Manchester United. That was said by Romano, but it's unknown if Wolves would be willing to sell in January. Ruben Neves would absolutely love a return to the Premier League and could be available for 15-20 million in January. And João Gomez and Ruben Neves are the ones to watch. Both are open to a Manchester United move. It depends on how much United want to pay, how extreme Bruno's injury is, and more. I think we could sign a midfielder with Bruno's injury. I think if Bruno's got a minor tear, a minor strain, we'll be fine. If it's a minor strain, Bruno's going to be out 3 weeks. I've had muscle injuries on my tendon in my foot, and when I did my tendon once, I was only out for about 3 weeks. It was a minor strain, and then I actually tore it, and I was out for ages. So I think with Bruno, he will either be out for a couple of weeks if it's a minor strain, but my fear is with Bruno, he wouldn't come off if it was a minor strain. I feel like he's the type to play through it. If it's a potentially more serious injury, like moderate, like a partial tear, which is probably the most common, he could be out for weeks to months. So I think Bruno could be out for 6 to 8 weeks with maybe a partial tear. I just feel like if it was a strain, maybe he'd have tried to play through. If it's a complete tear, it could take months to heal. So that's the fear with Bruno and his injury. I think when we know in the next 2 days how long Bruno's going to be out, I think that could influence who we sign. I think if Bruno is out for more than 6 to 8 weeks, I think if Bruno's out for 2 months plus, I think we'll sign a midfielder. I think if Bruno's only going to be out for 3 weeks with a little minor one, I think they won't. But I think if Bruno's going to be out long, like there's rumours he won't be back till March. They haven't done the MRI scan yet, so obviously the rumours are made up. But they'll do an MRI, and I think they'll find out soon what will be happening with Bruno. Now listen, people, I just wanted to do a basically short live show, kind of keeping you guys up to date on all the news and everything. But yeah, like I think Semenyo is one to watch. I think in the next few days it's going to get hot. Watch Ruben Neves, watch João Gomez, watch the midfield, watch Bruno's injury. I think Semenyo is injured and I think he'll be back and I think he'll stay. Zirkzee exit is close. I think Zirkzee exit could be done quite early depending on AFCON and who comes back and what happens with Bruno. I think if we sign Semenyo and we get the green light from Semenyo, I think Zirkzee is gone. I think we could bring in a midfielder. I think it'll be an interesting one to watch. I think there's a lot going on. But I also think we were unlucky versus Villa and there is some good signs. Anyway, thank you people for watching today's live show. I will be back tonight with a 10-minute roundup. See you next time. Bye.